Sports.
We are Sports. We are Sports.
The Rays are on a roll, winning 5 straight games to move into a tie for the top spot in the AL East. And tonight, Evan Longoria leads Tampa Bay into the Big Apple to face slugger Alex Rodriguez, who sits just 1 home run short of tying Willie Mays for 4th place on the all-time list. For the first time this year, the Rays will play a game outdoors as we see the aerial shot of Yankee Stadium. And the Rays are not without their fans here in the Bronx. This game 1 of a 3-game series between the Rays and the Yankees. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you looking in. Well, tonight the Rays begin a 3-city, 10-day, 9-game road trip. They have a winning streak going. They've won 5 in a row. The Yankees have won 5 out of 6. And here they are, these two teams atop the American League East. The big story, Alex Rodriguez trying to catch Willie Mays on the all-time home run list for number 4.
Well, he's just 1 away because of what he did last night. He took a curveball, hit it out to right center field here. And I'll tell you something, he's added pop to the middle of this Yankee lineup all season long. You know, 5 home runs, 13 runs batted in just a little over a week ago. Had a very good series against the Rays, including a home run off tonight's starter, Nathan Cards. He went 4 for 10 in that series with those 2 home runs, 4 driven in. And then here's the home run we were talking about last night at the stadium. And just 1 away now. I'll tell you something, Alex Rodriguez looking to celebrate. Rays hoping can push them off a few days.
Yeah, the Rays would like to postpone that as they send the right-hander Nathan Carnes to the hill. As we mentioned, the Rays have a winning streak going. The offense has been revitalized, and with that comes the reemergence of Evan Longoria.
5 days ago, April 22nd, coming into play that day, Evan Longoria was hitting 186. Well, since then, he's 11 out of 19, and in the last 2 ball games, you just cannot keep this guy off base. What you really love to see, and you can 7 for 7 with a walk. He's reached base in his last 8 plate appearances, but it's the using of the whole field, as you saw him right there, up the middle, the other way, pulling the ball with power into left field. That's what you really love to see from Evan Longoria. When he gets that going, then the power's just around the corner, and he loves Yankee pitching.
And he loves to hit here. You can see 13 career home runs, 39 runs batted in. He and Jose Bautista of the Toronto Blue Jays share that home run mark, the most home runs hit by an opposing player here in New Yankee Stadium. The Rays and the Yankees. Yankees won 3 over the Rays at Tropicana Field, and now the Rays have ideas trying to turn the tables on the Yankees here in the Bronx. Baseball from New York coming up. Rays and the Yankees from Yankee Stadium. 58 degrees under cloudy skies here for the opening game of this series. Let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by your Southern Ford dealers. David DeJesus will lead it off as the DH, followed by Steven Souza Jr. and then as Drupal Cabrera. Down the middle, Evan Longoria hits cleanup in front of James Loney, and then the left fielder is Brandon Guyer. Kevin Kiermaier hits 7th. Tim Beckham in the 8th spot, and Rene Rivera will bat 9th and catch.
Well, they'll be going up against right-hander Adam Warren, making his 4th start of the season, and the Rays looking for a repeat performance. They handed him his shortest outing of the year. That was 2 starts ago. He went 4 innings, gave up 4 earned runs on 6 hits. He's given up 2 home runs on the season. Both of those have come via the Tampa Bay Rays. Let's take a look at the defense as it lines up behind Warren, brought to you by BMW. Left to right in the outfield, we have Brett Gardner, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Chris Young. Across the infield, 3rd to 1st, Alex Rodriguez gets the start at 3rd. Didi Gregorius, Stephen Drew, and Mark Teixeira, Brian McCann behind the plate.
Alex Rodriguez, who has spent a lot of time DHing, some at first, is at 3rd base tonight. Joe Girardi will have him 3rd when we take a look at their lineup. For the Rays, David DeJesus will step in against the right-hander Adam Warren. DeJesus hitting .353. First pitch of this game, presented by Pinch a Penny, is a bit wide, so we're underway. A fastball at 92 off the plate. There's a strike. Greg Gibson calling the balls and strikes, 16-year veteran in the major leagues. We'll give Warren the jump on DeJesus, 1-2.
Well, Adam Warren is going to attack this Rays lineup with the fastball. He wants to keep it down in the zone, uses infielders, get a lot of ground balls. You saw the curveball. He's got a slider and a changeup to complement.
Tapper going to be foul up the first base side. Warren, 27 years old. Outside, tried the fastball and missed wide.
And interesting too, because you look at his minor league numbers, 90 starts in 90 games. That's all he was a starter. When he got up to the big leagues with the Yankees, primarily out of the bullpen till this year.
There's a fly ball lifted into center. Ellsbury will have to go back, but with a lot of room, makes the catch. And like a lot of young pitchers, sample size relatively small, but he has had some first inning issues.
Important for him to get off to a quick start. Almost half the runs he's given up this year in his 3 starts have come in that first inning. That's tough too, because you put your team in an immediate deficit, and then you got to try to play catch up.
Rays got him for 4 runs in 4 innings in the series at Tropicana Field. All of those came in the 4th inning. 1 strike to count on Steven Souza Jr. Souza in with 11 runs batted in, 4 home runs. Hit in the walk in the final game of the Toronto series at the Trop yesterday. Hot shot to 3rd and a stop by Gregorius. Throw to first, close. He beat it out. Sousa Jr. can get down that line, and he hit the ball sharply. Close play at first.
You know, even though Gregorius left his feet to make that play because he had to, you're diving after. This was a bullet. The fact that he's able to beat this out, long strides, and he can dig. And he absolutely was there in time. What hustle by Steven Sousa Jr.
Well, there's that speed that we so often talk about in conjunction with the power he has. And he turned it on that time, has himself an infield hit. So a base runner here in the first for Asdrubal Cabrera. And Gregorius is on the second base side, technically the first base side of second from his shortstop spot. Up the left side toward the line. That will drop fair and bound into the stands for a double. And the Rays have a major threat underway here in the first inning against Warren. So maybe some of that first inning trouble will come to pass here tonight.
Well, Asdrubal Cabrera was able to get inside of a breaking ball by Adam Warren. Looked to be, take a look at it right here. You see that breaking ball breaking down and in. They actually wanted that pitch to be backdoor, but down and in. Cabrera just drops the bat head and slices that thing out into left field. One hops into the stands, and the Rays in business.
Evan Longoria with 7 consecutive hits. He's reached base 8 consecutive times, and he's swinging, fouling it right back into the screen. Strike one.
Yeah, and you don't blame him for swinging at that because that was a hanging slider. Adam Warren very fortunate that Evan didn't tee off on that pitch.
Evan 3 of 10 with a walk against Warren. And that one is fouled back. Fastball 0-2, our Toyota trend. You can see him before this latest run at 218. Comes into this game hitting 306. The on base percentage and slugging percentage headed in the right direction after this hot spell.
And using the whole field. That's the key. Because they're going to continue to pitch him away. You see that right there is a fastball in a show pitch. Adam Warren saying if you want to swing at that pitch, go right ahead. If not, it sets up what I want to do next. You see right here the breakout that Evan Longoria absolutely spraying it around.
Evan with 39 runs batted in here at Yankee Stadium. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 men in scoring position for him right here in the first. Sousa, the runner at third. Cabrera, the runner at second.
And you feel like after those 2 fastballs in, he's not going to come in again. So you got to think off speed, something off speed here.
And a cut and a miss. So he strikes him out.
Well, 2 fastballs in and then a backup slider. You see that? They want that down and away. And he ends up dropping it down and in, and Evan is right over the top of it.
Yeah, there's a case where, well, if you could perfect that pitch, because you do, I think you're absolutely right. You had a hitter looking for something away, and that pitch backed up, and they got him out in. Here's James Loney. Loney, as you can see there, good numbers against Warren. 4 of 7 with a home run. Well, you would hate to see them not cash in here in the first inning on this opportunity.
Well, you've got 2 of the hottest teams in baseball. You know, Yankees have won 8 out of 10, 5 out of 6. The Rays 5 in a row. So you want to, you know, you're on the road, set the tone, and you've been given a great opportunity. And you're right to go back into that dugout, head out into the field without having scored. Not good.
It's a strike and it's 1-1. Fastball in the neighborhood of 93, 94.
It's a firm fastball. It's not an explosive fastball. And there's a difference.
2-1. Maloney just off the disabled list, and he had some big hits. He went right to work in that Toronto series coming off the DL.
Well, got the start against R.A. Dickey, then came off the bench with the big hit off Castro the next night.
Tapper to the right side. Teixeira's going to make the play unassisted. The Rays threaten, leave 2 men in scoring position. We'll go to the bottom half of the first. Rodriguez will hit third. Let's take a look at the Yankees lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead off. Brett Gardner and Alex Rodriguez. Teixeira, McCann, and Beltran down the middle. Chris Young hits 7th. Stephen Drew 8th. And Gregorius, the shortstop, 9th.
Taking the mound tonight for the Tampa Bay Rays, right-hander Nathan Carnes making his 5th start of the season. It's been an up and down beginning for Nathan. 1-1 on the record, 5.32 earned run average, where you'd like to see him clean things up a little bit. If you look at the walks, 14 walks and 23 2/3. Need to avoid that in this building.
So Carnes set to go to work against Jacoby Ellsbury. He's back in the lineup tonight for New York. Missing the game yesterday against the Mets with some tightness in his hip. One and one to count.
Yeah, that's the last thing that the Yankees want to linger. Jacoby Ellsbury, speed, such an important part of his game.
Carnes throws a strike, and it's 1-2. Little Tapper foul, holding the count at a ball and 2 strikes.
I'll tell you what, if this Yankee lineup is going to continue to score runs, they need Jacoby Ellsbury at the top to do what he does. That's put a good at bat on you, use his speed. If you hang one, he'll show you that occasional power, especially being a left-handed hitter here with the short wall out and right.
And a cut to miss. He's out on strikes. Fastball away, got him.
Well, let's take a look at the Rays defense as it lines up tonight. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Brandon Geyer, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Across the infield third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Tim Beckham, and James Loney. Rene Rivera will be behind the plate.
Well, another left-handed hitter, Brett Gardner. Pitch is upstairs.
Well, cut out of the same mold. Another hitter that will battle you. Foul off pitches, work long at bats. Good speed. And he showed the ability to hit home runs. He had 17 home runs last year.
Yeah, that's a part of his game that has really emerged. He wasn't much of a power hitter at all. Relied more on speed than anything. But the last year and a half, that bat has had some power in it. There's a ball that's off the mid of Beckham, and he cannot find it. Sharply hit with a little top spin, and he tried to scoop.
Yeah, that's
come up with it.
That's a do or die play. I mean, Tim Beckham doesn't have a whole lot of time to get his feet set, to do anything but react. This ball was scorched, and you could see him just trying to olay and scoop that right off the heel, up in the air, and once it was not fielded cleanly, no way you were going to be able to get Gardner.
Well, here is Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez, 659 career home runs. He pops it up on the right side, skied over there, and that's Loney to take care of the New York third baseman.
Boy, that's a gutsy pitch by Nathan Carnes. This is very similar to the pitch that Alex hit out against him at Tropicana Field. A fastball up and out over the plate with some elevation. Alex able to get on top of that pitch at Tropicana Field, pops it up here tonight.
Yeah, Rodriguez, you're right. Carnes got that one up just enough to get that major league pop-up.
Look, you know, too, Rodriguez, he's one of those hitters. He wants to get those arms extended.
Yeah, if that's down an iota more, trouble. And it might have been trouble there anyway if you did it again.
Yeah.
But thank goodness it was at least as up as it was. Well, here's Teixeira, and boy, has he been hot. Second in the league in home runs with 8. Skies this one the other way.
And just got named American League Player of the Week.
Yeah, he beat out Chris Archer. Archer's not giving up any earned runs at all. And Teixeira, who's had some trouble early in the season, the last couple years, is hot right now.
That last week, 5 home runs, 10 driven in. And from both sides of the plate, too.
1-2. Take a look at the home run leaders in the American League. Nelson Cruz providing big time power for that Seattle Mariners lineup. Next to Teixeira and Hanley Ramirez. A 1-2 count. Strike 3 called at the knees. Teixeira out of there. No runs ahead. Gardner left at first. On to the second. No score. season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. It was Brandon Guyer to lead it off. He opened the Rays offense in yesterday's game with a home run and finished the day with 4 runs batted in. Back into the screen, foul, a strike.
Well, with the rash of injuries that the Rays have had, you needed guys to step up. Brandon Guyer, one of them. David DeJesus, another. You get an opportunity, you need to take advantage, and they have.
2, he's behind in the count here against Warren. Guyer 1 out of 3 against the New York right-hander. And he makes quick work of Guyer on 3 pitches. A called third strike.
Boy, a little buckle there by Brandon Guyer on the changeup. I think anticipating this pitch dipping out of the strike zone, he's not able to pull the trigger, and you can see clearly it catches the bottom. Good pitch by Warren.
Yeah, you could see that little movement right at the end, down and in to the right-handed hitter.
Guyer wanted more movement.
Now Kevin Kiermaier shortens on the bat. Kiermaier put down a bunt single in the 6th inning yesterday. The Rays eventually turned that into a run. 1-1. Fouls it right back. 1-2. Rays had a great opportunity in the first, men at 2nd and 3rd, but could not get them home. And Kiermaier strikes out on the heels of Guyer called out on strikes. Kiermaier swings and misses the fastball.
This is one of those sequences that you'll see sometimes from Matt Andriese of the Rays, the guy that, he's working that sinker down in the zone, and every once in a while will elevate, and he does so effectively there and getting Kevin Kiermaier.
And with the way Warren has pitched this year, and the times the Rays have seen him, you're really focused down in the zone with this guy.
Yep. And that's why if you can elevate, what a weapon. Typically, though, guys that are working the bottom half of the strike zone all the time have a tough time elevating. It's like you talk about changing a hitter's eye level. It changes. You're changing your release point. And you're right. It's just not something they're used to doing.
A couple of strikes here to Tim Beckham. You're telling a sinker baller to do something that's absolutely against everything he believes in. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
On the flip side, if you are able to, whether it's in your mind or whether it's something that you're aiming at, if you're able to effectively do that as a guy who relies on the ball down and ground balls, my goodness, you wear people out.
And a swing and a miss. Beckham tagged out on that pitch, dug out. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Warren. Let's go places by Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life with Grow Financial Credit Union. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. Here's Brian McCann to lead off the bottom of the second inning for New York. Fastball is upstairs. Carnes a couple strikeouts in the first. Gave up a hit. Left a man on. And he drops a curveball into McCann. 1-1. Carnes coming off Wednesday's start against Boston. Pitch in a bit. He made 108 pitches in the 6 innings he worked against the Red Sox. Into short right field where Beckham is stationed, and he throws him out of the shift. One out here. Pull a shift of our own. Let's go to Todd Callis.
Well, Dwayne, the Rays looking for a little help in terms of the bullpen from a left-hander. You know about the injuries. Jeff Beliveau out for the year. Then C.J. Riefenhauser went on the 15-day disabled list. So today, Matt Silverman able to work out a deal with his buddy Andrew Friedman. They pick up Xavier Cedeno for cash considerations. You saw the other part of that deal. John Jaso with that injured wrist moved to the 60-day DL. Not really a setback. The Rays hadn't really seen Jaso in any baseball activities at this point, so he's still on the same pace to come back. It just probably won't be till June now. But guys, Cedeno started the year with the Nationals, designated for assignment after 8 days. The Dodgers picked him up. Then he was designated by the Dodgers, and now the Rays work out a deal for him. So he's got 72 hours to report. Not sure if we'll see him in this series, but a lefty in the bullpen in the future, guys.
Yeah, the Rays already making that 40-man adjustment, putting Jaso on the 60-day DL. And when he shows up, they're going to have to make an adjustment with the 25-man roster. So we'll see what happens here over the next couple days. 1-2 the count on Beltran. A little tap right side, and Longoria, who had just moved over there, takes care of that.
Okay, so how about this? So Andrew Friedman leaves and goes to the Dodgers, and all of a sudden Matt Silverman steps into that role. How about the baptism by fire that he's undergone?
I'll tell you, it's been amazing.
I mean, really.
He's done a great job under what you would think would be impossible circumstances. 12 men on the DL, and you're mixing and matching and juggling. Number one, you're just trying to get able bodies, much less capable able bodies. And what the Rays have done here, in the face of all that, Kevin Cash and Matt Silverman have this team at a point where it was never able to reach last year, and that's 3 games over 500.
How about that? How about that? You know, you think it started, you know, listen, he hasn't been able to even come up for air. He steps into that role, and then look at all the offseason moves, all of the trades, everything that happened there. And then, like you said, you come into the season and coming out of spring training, it's a mash unit. And here they are, tied with the Yankees. Someone's going to walk out of this stadium here tonight in first place.
Well, in the history of the franchise, to this point, it's the 3rd best start ever. You know, they were in 2010 14-5. In 12 they were 12-7. Loney's after this one down the right side in foul territory, and just couldn't quite get there, trying to track it to see how far toward the stands I was going to carry. And so this year, with all of those injuries, the Rays are 11-8. That's a pretty amazing story right there. This continues to be a team that, if you're a baseball fan and in any way close to unaffiliated with a previous loyalty, how you couldn't root for this team, I don't know how you could keep from it.
Now, it's an easy team to root for. Number one, top to bottom in the organization, it's run well. People enjoy working with each other. The players enjoy being around each other. The camaraderie's great. The players are likable. They're athletic. Tremendous pitching. I mean, you go right down the list. There are so many reasons why this team is so fun to watch.
You know, I don't know if this is true or not anymore, but it used to be the American way to root for the underdog. There are a lot of people now who think, well, I got to stroll around and root for the favorite guy, front run a little bit all the time. But this is the great opportunity to root for the underdog, because they're the underdog every year. There's a great curveball to strike out Young. No score through 2. Who else could it be for the Rays except for Chris Archer? Most consecutive starts allowing 0 earned runs, 4. To get better than that, you have to go back to Zach Greinke in 08. Rene Rivera fouls the first pitch fastball out of play. Strike 1. I'll tell you, he has reached another level here for the Rays with that 0.84 earned run average.
The numbers during the streak are incredible. They really are.
Well, you just watch him, particularly. I mean, we know what the fastball is and the velocity and the command, but that slider. Base hit out of the reach of Gregorius. And Rivera is aboard with a leadoff single. You know, hitters and teams and former hitters who are now analysts walk away from those games saying, that slider is unhittable.
It is. When he executes it, you're not going to do anything with it. You hope he hangs one and you can run into it, because when he does it, he throws it so hard, he gets so much depth on that pitch, and the break is so late that you just cannot react to it in a manner which is going to give you a chance to do any damage off of it. He just, you know, he gets his hand so far out in front. He stays tall over the rubber and then starts down towards home plate and really allows his hand and his arm to work out in front. And that's why all of his pitches are so crisp.
Tap foul straight back. 0-2 on David DeJesus.
The thing that you like too is that streak covers 26 2/3 innings. He's got 32 strikeouts, just 5 walks, and in that time frame he's averaging just over 14.5 pitches an inning. Extremely economical for those strikeout numbers.
1 and 2. You know, I don't know why they calculate this way, but 26 2/3. They say that's the official. I heard somebody else today on one of the networks refer to it as 27 1/3. That's really what it is. It's 27 1/3 if you go back to where it all started. So I'm not sure what new math makes it 26 2/3, but it's really 27 1/3 if you want to be just completely accurate. Give him his due. Give him the other 2 outs.
He gave up a run, got a couple more outs, and then continued it from there. I agree with you. I don't know why you started from the new game, the next start, or the next inning.
Yeah, I can't help them with their homework if they bring it home and it comes out to 26 2/3.
No.
I can't do it.
Go ask your mom.
Yeah, it's new math. Still a ball, 2 strikes to David DeJesus.
Hey, speaking of new math, Dwayne, I was reading today. Did you realize, we talked about Mark Teixeira, how hot he is?
Yeah.
Do you realize that he leads Major League Baseball in isolated power?
Yeah, what does that mean? That, like, his teammates aren't talking to him anymore? What is that?
It's the best guess I've heard.
Little tap down to Teixeira, throw to second there to get the lead runner, and that's it. So 1 out with Rivera forced at second base. Yeah, I mean, he appears to be friendly enough and conversational, but yet he's isolated.
And not only on his own team, but he leads all of baseball.
So nobody's talking to him.
Nobody's talking to him.
I've heard of one player not talking to anybody, particularly the press, but apparently he's so isolated that nobody's talking to him. Isolated power. Does that mean like you're the #1 power in the world? What does that mean?
This is why I love the new stats that are thrown out there with absolutely no perspective given. Just he leads major leagues in isolated power. Okay.
Yeah.
That's worth nothing to me.
There's a strike.
All I know is he's hit 5 home runs in the last week. Stay out of the middle of the plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And as new stats go, I kind of like old stats since I am one. So, excuse the self-indulgence, but that's just fine with me.
Hey, as of yesterday, I'm closing in on you.
But you'll never catch me.
Somehow I feel like you'll take the lead here shortly.
Strike the count on Souza Jr. It's 1-1. Well, the Rays with 3 hits. No runs yet.
What about Souza's hit? I really have been going over in my mind how hard he hit that one hopper to Gregorius and beat it. I don't think I've ever seen an infield hit that hard.
Yep.
Even with the guy going down with the dive. It doesn't matter. It got to him so quick, it shouldn't have mattered.
And the great thing about Souza, and I hope this stays the same throughout his entire career. I mean, he just breaks out of that batter's box from step 1, is hustling all the way. 1-2.
Well, you've now got 2 of those guys. With Kiermaier and Souza Jr., the way that they explode out of the box, and they're always looking to take the extra base. That really, it tells you a lot about the person, the want to, the pressure that it puts out on the defense, and you hope it's contagious.
Well, now they're going to get DeJesus caught. He slips between first and second. He's in a rundown, and Teixeira is going to tag him out. Well, he tried to read that pitch and got caught.
Yes, he did get caught. Absolutely right. Brian McCann got up, and then he's trying to make the decision. You see DeJesus right there, and yep, there's the break, thinking that he can steal one, and McCann, Yankees very efficient at that rundown as Teixeira applies the tag. We've seen this team the first part of the season here, how aggressive they are on the base paths, looking to anticipate balls in the dirt, stealing bases, trying to take the extra base.
Yeah, and you hope that they continue. You lose a base runner there, but you don't want to lose that edge.
Absolutely, Dwayne. Yeah, they are starting to forge an identity, to themselves as how they're going to play this game, what kind of team they're going to be. Always applying the pressure. And I don't think you'll have to worry about that because I think, number one, the players, that's who they are, and their manager wants them to be aggressive. So they are being pushed in that direction.
Base is empty now with 2 outs. Souza out on strikes. Foul tip. Bottom of the 3rd coming up. No score. Evan Longoria's walk-up song from your own home with the Evan Longoria walk-up music bobblehead presented by Sun Sports. When the Rays take on the Rangers Saturday, May 9th, all fans receive an Evan walk-up music bobblehead while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Temperature in the upper 50s here in New York. First game of the series. Stephen Drew leads off the bottom of the 3rd. Lifts one foul out of play. Drew hitting 167 with 4 home runs. One of those coming off Nathan Carnes. The 100th of his career. 1-1. Rays have the shift on for Drew. Beckham in shallow right. Two balls and a strike. And 1 to Drew, leading off the inning.
That's what you want to avoid here if you're Nathan Carnes. That's something that has plagued him. Too many walks, too many opportunities for the opposition. And even though with 4 home runs for Drew, remember he's hitting 167.
Ground ball first. Loney, a nice pickup. Carnes covered. Boy, Loney had been so valuable to the Rays, the way he handles that first baseman's mitt.
He's so good over there. Has such a feel for the position. This is just a chopper right here, but he knows how to back up, get the hop that you want, and make a nice feed to Karn's covering right on the money. See how he's reading that hop. Do I want to charge? Do I want to retreat? I'll retreat and take the hop a little higher, spin, and throw a strike. Or a first down pass on a crossing pattern. Either one.
Ball 1 to Gregorius.
Are you excited about the NFL draft?
Can't wait. Thursday night.
Off day. I know where I'll be.
2-0. Yeah, I've got it circled on my calendar in red.
I mean, but let's get it done already.
Yeah.
Enough of the mock draft. You can't go anywhere without someone wanting your take on a mock draft.
Yeah. I never could quite figure out the credibility of a mock draft.
You know what? It gives people something to talk about.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a job, Dwayne.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Right. Listen, that's coming from you. You've taught me that. And so it's just another talking point.
You know what that really comes from? Raising children. You got to keep them busy. That's why everybody needs a job.
Amen.
Keep people occupied. Then they stay out of trouble.
See the wisdom that flows through the booth and then sometimes out on the air.
It's a foul ball, and it's still 2-2.
You're getting a small glimpse at what it's like while we're doing our notes before a game. Just hours and hours of this endless wisdom.
Yeah, we better stick to the game. Oh, ball 3 down. So full count. Carnes went 3-1 to Drew, then got him on the ground ball. He got ahead of Gregorius. Now he's full up with him. And a tap foul.
Well, important for Nathan Carnes to maintain concentration because his stuff is plenty good enough. We've seen the fastball. It's got good life on it, good velocity. The curveball, the best curveball probably in the organization. I mean, just really can rip that thing with depth. A changeup that is absolutely a workable pitch. And so if he can maintain concentration and every pitch a purpose, he'll have success because his stuff translates.
And I've got a feeling that having Rivera behind the plate is such a plus for a guy who's trying to do exactly what you talked about. He did go, and boy, how about that for a call on 3-2. And James Joyce confirms that he went around. How about that?
What about the scoop by Rivera?
Yeah.
I mean, this was a breaking ball that Carnes really yanked into the ground. This was going to be a swing and Gregorius at first, but watch the backhanded. That is a very difficult scoop there by Rivera. This is a great shot of it. Blind.
And you know what I like about that is the gutsiness of the call by Rivera and Carnes. Ground ball, and that's going to go through for Ellsbury. So he has a base hit. Kiermaier returns it to the infield.
No, you're right. And you go back to that pitch where you're talking about the guts. He didn't baby it either. In fact, he probably overthrew it, but he threw it with conviction, and he got the desired result, even though that pitch was, well out of the strike zone.
Well, just another reason that if you're out there on the mound, you appreciate having Rivera behind the plate. The other big reason I think that's a positive, he's the kind of catcher who's made it such a point to stay with each pitcher he catches. And Carnes is in a position in his career where if he gets a catcher like that, it can make a big difference. There's Brett Gardner. Runner takes off. The pitch is a ball. Throw sails into center. And Ellsbury, in his haste to get up and try to go to third, stumbles over the bag. So it's a stolen base, and that's it.
Well, it was such a good jump by Ellsbury that there was no way. Rivera did everything that he could, trying to come out of that crouch and get rid of that ball quickly. And look at that, Ellsbury off and running. This is going to be easy. And Rivera, that ball just sails a little bit on him. And then Ellsbury got snipered out there at second base. Slide and pop up, and then sniper. That was a good one too.
It's a good landing.
Yeah, as long as we know that he's not hurt, that was pretty impressive.
Here's a guy who had a little hip issue just yesterday, and he winds up doing that. There's a strike to Gardner.
Oh, this is, well, just enjoy. You can't teach that.
No, and if the hip was tight yesterday, it's loose now. One the count on Gardner. Strike at the knees. 1-2. Oh, he shot that outside corner and just missed with a fastball. It's 2-2.
You always wonder on this type of pitch, the reaction of the hitter. Is that a good eye, or did you just get locked up? That was close.
Down to third. Longoria's throw right there on the money. Face hit, the man left. On to the fourth. No score from the Bronx. Baseball history presented by Geico on this day in 2002. Derek Lowe no-hit Tampa Bay at Fenway Park. First time the Devil Rays had been no-hit. Brent Abernathy, the only base runner. He walked in the third. Jason Tyner made the first and last out of the game. Derek Lowe's no-hitter on this day in 2002.
Well, you finished what you started. It's my take on Tyner.
Yeah. Cabrera takes a strike. That will be foul. 0-2.
I never got to experience a no-hitter on any level. Yeah.
Really?
Never threw a no-hitter. Not even in Well, Little League, Little League, I had a no-hitter against Chardon.
Well, there you have it.
Little town. No, in a playoff game.
Mm-hmm.
And with 2 outs in the last inning, and a kid by the name of David Toady. I can still remember his name because I want to find him and hunt him down like a. And he bunted.
Oh,
he bunted in Little League.
Oh, yeah.
He laid down.
No,
it was a great bunt. It was a great bunt.
That's not right.
Yeah,
No.
David Toady.
Yeah, well, if he's out there, I hope he is embarrassed that he bunted.
There's a couple of guys, if I had a shot at. Won't mention the other. He may be close.
Swing and a miss. Cabrera out on the pitch up. Really? Never a no-hitter.
Never a no-hitter.
It's really hard to believe.
Yeah, listen, it seems like everybody's thrown one at some point, and I never did.
Even I threw a no-hitter.
See?
It was a 9-inning no-hitter, and I lost 2-1.
Okay, that stinks.
Yeah, that's bad.
How do you go home with a no-hitter and you're just ticked off because you lost?
Yeah.
I read about a high school, or no, is it the high school or college? It might be college. Female softball pitcher who threw a perfect game and lost.
Hey, here's Longoria with a base hit. After having that streak come to an end his first time up, he singles with 1 out here in the 4th, so Evan has his first hit of the night.
So wrap your mind around that. A perfect game and lost.
No.
Yeah, happened.
To what point?
It was that some rule that after like the 8th or the 9th inning, somewhere in there, they start each inning with a runner at second base.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's a bad one.
And she wild pitched her home and lost with a perfect game. How about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not good. James Loney pitches a strike. One and one, the count on Loney. The Rays had men at second and third with 1 out in the 1st and left him there. Now Longoria's at first with 1 out in the 4th. Warren has been all over the strike zone. 11 of 14 first pitch strikes.
Well, how about the fact that already in this ball game, 3 1/3, 6 strikeouts. That's how many he had in his first 3 starts combined.
Yeah, covering 15 innings.
And he was almost a strikeout an inning guy coming out of the bullpen last year for the Yankees, but not easy to come by this year until tonight.
Fly ball toward the line and left. It's Gardner. 2 outs. Brandon Guyer is going to be the next hitter. Guyer, one of the strikeouts, he was caught looking on a changeup in. Now he's going to bunt. And he did not offer on the appeal.
That was a late pullback there by Brandon Guyer, and didn't know if he was going to get the benefit of the doubt because the intent was there to bunt, and then watch at the very end. Boy, that's close.
The pitch is down again. 2-0. Rays and the Yankees with records of 11-8, starting the day atop the American League East. about that pitch in there for a strike? Slider, and it's 2-1. 2-0 slider. He likes that pitch.
He really does. That is one of his go-to pitches. When he's ahead, he tries to put guys away with it, and even when behind, to keep them guessing. Comfortable.
It stayed in. Came back with a slider there. Now 3-1. Kevin Kiermaier on deck. Line drive into center. That will be caught by Ellsbury, and the Rays are finished in the fourth. Alex Rodriguez will open the bottom of the inning. No score. Opening this three-game series, and the all-time home run list in Major League Baseball: Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth. Those three with more than 700. And next comes Willie Mays with 660, followed by Alex Rodriguez with 659. Rodriguez popped out his first time, a high popper handled by Loney at first. Down and away. 1 ball, no strikes. Five home runs this year for Rodriguez. And it's 2-0. Barnes missed with a curveball.
Now you put yourself in a position where Alex Rodriguez can start to size you up, pick out a pitch, a spot, and turn it loose if it's there.
It's a ball in. 3-0. Teixeira next, and then McCann.
And don't listen, he's going to have the green light, so you've still got to make a pitch here. 3-0. This isn't just a get me over situation.
That's a strike. 3-1. The Rays trying to postpone number 660. It'll be interesting when he hits it, because there's a lot of conversation about what the local reaction will be here. Ground ball, third. Longoria scoops it, so they come back to get Rodriguez. Cards at one point down 3-0, gets him on a ground ball to third.
You know what, to be frank, now that we've spent the day here in New York at Yankee Stadium, the way that it is being handled here at the stadium is childish at best. I mean, it's like it just doesn't exist. You can't find it in the notes. Nobody will talk about it. It's very bizarre. And you know why. The reasons why are very obvious.
6 million reasons.
That's right. And so if you were to tout it, well, then your case is lost.
Mm-hmm.
So it just does not exist. It's very, very strange and awkward. Oh, by the way, you want this guy to continue to play well because you want to win the division and go to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the story on that, there's supposedly a $6 million bonus tied to marketing of that event, a marketing bonus for number 660 and then beyond, as you can see the breakout there. Well, and frankly, all right, there's a possibility of this big moment here in baseball history, and you would think that maybe Yankee Stadium would be packed.
Right.
That's not the case, as you can see. If you're in the neighborhood, there are seats available.
As we speak.
Yep.
Sections available.
Ground ball right side. Beckham from short right field will take care of Teixeira. So that shift has worked a couple times tonight, once against McCann and this time against Teixeira. And Ryan McCann will be coming up again.
Well, there's even been talk that they, when it happens, because it's going to happen, you would assume so. He's got one more to go. That it won't even be anything that's recognized on the scoreboard. It's just, it's like a national game, a national Rays game. The game didn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yep, no candles on this cake. Want to know the count on McCann. Two balls, no strikes. So there's a strike, a nice pitch, 2-0. Breaking ball, 2-1. Fly ball, short center, long run. Kiermaier's there, and he makes the catch, retiring the side. Had some nice hang time.
Had half the team out in shallow right center field.
And that, folks, is called teamwork. No score through 4. With MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat, up to the moment, and at any moment, you'll get in-game highlights, a live look-in, replay reviews, radio broadcast, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Here's Kevin Kiermaier, made that catch, surrounded by his teammates in the bottom of the 4th. He'll lead off the 5th. Pitch is a strike at the knees. Now to play, 0-2. Six strikeouts in the game for Warren. He has one in each inning, including 3 in the second. Oh, down he goes.
Oh boy. That, you know what? That's old school brushback pitch. 0-2, up and in. Kiermaier starting to lean, and then flop. Get out of there. This is 1968.
That's the way they used to do it.
Yeah, you don't see that much anymore. You're right.
Don Drysdale about ready to make the next pitch. It's fouled back. Drysdale, Gibson. I mean, those guys, that's how they pitched.
You get into that box very lightly. Don't dig a whole lot. Just get settled in.
Nolan Ryan. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Tried to go back to the well once again. Warren was able to get Kiermaier on a fastball up and out of the zone in his first at bat.
There's a high fly ball back into right. Young will go back about 10 feet from the track and make the catch.
Just enough change of speed that it got Kiermaier out in front, and he lost a little bit of his power. That's the only thing that kept that in play.
Yeah, and when you hit the ball to that part of this ballpark for a couple reasons. Number one, it's very cozy in the power alley and right. It's only 314 down the line, and you don't get a tremendous drop off in that wall as it carries out into right center. And so you don't always have to get it all to get it into the stands there. Here's Beckham fouling it right back into the screen. It's a favorite spot for left-handed hitters.
It's so inviting. Really is.
Fly ball center field. Ellsbury will have to go back near the track, straightaway center, and he makes the catch. Boy, Beckham hit that ball a long way here.
Yeah, the problem is, conversely, as cozy as right field is, center field is a bomb. You go out of center field here, and you have earned every bit of it. 408 straight away. And it plays big.
I don't know if this is a trend or not, but the last 4 outs have been in the air. And Warren had a very high ground ball percentage coming into this game. And there's a fly ball back into center field. But again, a lot of room out there. And Rivera is out number 3. 3 fly ball outs through 4.5. No score. opening game of this 3-game series. Nathan Carnes against Adam Warren. Carnes 61 pitches through 4 of 2-hit baseball and no walks. That's been an area where Carnes would like to improve. He had walked 14 in 23 2/3 innings coming into this game. And yet the opposition was hitting only 195 off him. There's a first pitch strike to Beltran.
Yeah, and in 3 of his 4 starts, he walked at least 4 hitters.
Yep.
So that's just too many free base runners.
And if he can cut that down, then with that comes the consistency of performance that he's after. Because if he can do that, he's got great stuff. And working ahead in the count, really a big deal for him.
Yep. It makes that curveball so much better. I mean, the pitch is already good when you keep it in the zone. When you're able to start it in the zone because of the depth of the pitch, you release it. Coming out of the hand, that ball looks like it's in the middle of the strike zone as you start your swing. And then it gets so much depth that it bottoms out. It ends up becoming a ball. That's what we talk about when we're talking about expanding the zone. Tried to do it right there. And that's what you want to do as a pitcher. When you got a good off-speed pitch, you want to present it as a strike to the hitter. And by the time the hitter has to make up his mind, all of a sudden, now it's not a strike. And you either get bad contact or you get to swing and a miss.
And there's strike 3. Well, to give you an idea, as he gets Beltran looking on that 1-2 pitch, the opposition now this year, including tonight, 0 for 16 against him when he's ahead 1-2 in the count.
Enough said. Enough said. You know, and that's a pitch right there. We're out of the hand. Beltran says, that ball's down, going to end up further down. And he's able to pound the bottom of the zone.
There's Chris Young. 1 ball, no strikes.
I'll tell you, how about the work that Chris Young has done for the Yankees?
He came over here from the Mets last year and found a completely new look at life. 2 balls, no strikes. Back to 2-1 now. Boy, it's nice to be able to come back with that pitch 2-0 for a strike.
Hitters bank on 2-0 fastballs. That's where they want to put the good swing and drive it. And you're right. When you are able to do that, 2 things happen. Number 1, if you're able to throw it for a strike, the hitter's typically not going to swing at a 2-0 curveball. So you take it for a strike, then you plant the seed of doubt. Well, if he did it 2-0, would he do it 2-1? And you take a little bit of that aggressiveness away.
Suddenly you're back even at 2-2. Three balls and 2 strikes. Missed with a fastball there. He struck him out on a 2-2 curveball in the second. 3-2. The roller to short. Cabrera takes care of that. So with 2 outs here in the 5th inning, let's check in with Todd Callis.
Hey, Dwayne, coming up on May 10th, it's going to be Mother's Day when the Rays come back to Tropicana Field after this long road trip. And the giveaway item will be for the women who show up at the game. It'll be this Mother's Day picture frame. So make sure to go to RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. In this case, it's Desmond Jennings with his mom. DJ hopefully will be back in the lineup tomorrow, but a picture frame on Mother's Day. And Rays Baseball, back to you.
All right, mark that on your calendar. Stephen Drew takes a pitch upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes. Shift on for Drew. The count is now 2-0. 3-0. Gregorius, the shortstop, on deck. Strike 3-1. And there's ball 4. That's the first walk given up by Carnes. It comes with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Well, you figure you might walk a guy or 2.
Yep.
But you'd really, particularly in the American League, you'd love to be able to get that number 8 guy out. Start the next inning with the number 9 hitter. Curveball, and that's in there for a first pitch strike.
Well, talking from, from a guy who's thrown a no-hitter and knows how to navigate his way through a lineup, your thinking is spot on.
Somehow the hitters weren't quite the same.
Hey. No hitter's a no-hitter.
Ground ball, third. Great stop at third. Longoria could not cleanly get it out of that glove, but he kept the ball from rolling into left. That'll be an infield hit for Gregorius.
Well, all about placement there by Didi Gregorius. He did not hit this hard. You get a good shot of it here, just slaps it. Evan, a great dive, and then on the exchange, that ball squirts free. That ball was never into the webbing of that glove. It was more in the heel, and so as he opens the glove, the ball rolls right out. And now 2-man aboard with 2 out. Got a bear down here against Jacoby Ellsbury, getting his 3rd look at Nathan Carnes.
And he has a base hit already. He's 1 for 2. Gregorius at first and Drew on second. For the second time tonight, the Yankees have a runner in scoring position. The first time it was Ellsbury. Now he's at the plate. And there's ball 1. Ellsbury finished last year at .271 with 16 home runs and 70 runs batted in. Strike called. The walk to Drew with 2 outs started the threat. Gregorius with the infield hit. And a long one down the right side. It's going to be foul. Well fouled into the stands. Ellsbury turning quickly on a fastball, pulled it foul. Making a quick trip to the mound with Carnes. Brandon Gomes working in the bullpen now for the Rays. Two and two. Like a lot of pitchers, when Carnes gets hurt, it's because he misses with his location. He's done that a couple times tonight, but he's really kept it to a minimum to this point.
Yeah, he has. And you got to make a pitch here. And you're right. It's been like night and day. He does have the walk, but for the most part, he's put the ball where he's wanted to.
Foul out of play.
And that just goes to show you, this is a Yankee team that's hot coming in. They just took 3 out of 4 from Detroit, 2 out of 3 from the Mets after leaving the Rays when they swept the Rays. Swinging the bats well. It just goes to show you, if you hit your spots with the stuff that Nathan Karns has, you will have success. Got to continue to do it, though.
Yeah. And if he can do that consistently, we've seen tonight how good he can be, because the stuff is great. Two again, and that's ball 3. Missed with a curveball.
Now, and the reason that pitching coaches they call that 2-2 an action pitch, that's where they want that out made, is because now at a full count, runners on first and second, everybody running. So you got a chance to score a guy from first if you're able to get one away from the outfielders.
3-2. There they go, and the pitch is fouled back. Ellsbury extending the at bat. You can see 25 pitches here in the 5th inning, which has run the count up to 86. He had 2 outs with just 11 pitches in the inning. Then the walk, and the single, and now full count. Move to the bag by Cabrera. Step off, but no throw back there. The 8th pitch of this at bat on its way, and it's low. That'll load the bases. Two walks in the inning, sandwiched around the infield hit, and the bases are loaded.
Well, the 2 quick outs to start this inning, the walk to Drew, Gregorius, a well-placed ball up the line, and then another walk, and that's going to bring Kevin Cash to the mound.
Well, Brett Gardner's due up. Cash making the call to the bullpen. So Karns goes 4 2/3 and departs. Sea-Doo Spark, the most affordable watercraft on the water, starting at only $49.99 or as low as $79 per month. By Courtesy Toyota, you'll love what we do for you. And by Checkers, get Checkers authentic Philly cheesesteak or try the new meatball sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. Nathan Karns out of the game after 4 2/3. Kevin Cash's pick, Brandon Gomes, with the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Brett Gardner due up. Gardner 1 for 2 tonight. And a cut and a miss, strike 1.
Boy, how about that? How about that off speed? Brandon Gomes coming in out of the bullpen, bases loaded. Big spot in this game, and unleashes a great split right there to jump ahead.
Up and away. Now 1-1.
This is always tough for a guy coming out of the bullpen. No time to settle in. Can't afford a mistake. Have nowhere to put Gardner. Got to come in and make pitches.
Down and in. It's 2-1. Gomes worked 2 innings day before yesterday in the Toronto series. In his 3 prior appearances, he had inherited 2 men aboard in each game and had stranded all 6 of them. Bases loaded here. 2 on the count on Gardner. And now it's 3 balls and a strike.
Now this is what you didn't want to see. Falling behind in the count. You've got to come over the plate here. Gardner knows it. Everybody knows it. No place to put him.
This uprising developing after the first 2 men had been retired. They're loaded, 3-1. Foul out of play. So a 3-2 count right now.
Now here's the thing. You threw the fastball to get to 3-2. The right pitch here is the split. But the right pitch to get the swing and a miss is going to end up a ball.
Well, let's see.
That's right.
3-2. Here it is. Gomes to Gardner. And he takes it. He went with the fastball and missed with it to force home a run.
Well, just overthrew that fastball, and Brandon Gomes yanked it. Held on to it just a little too long, and it was an easy take for Gardner. 3 walks in this inning by Rays pitching.
Yeah, this rally was an infield hit, 3 walks.
And it was the 2-out walk to the 8-hole hitter that you highlighted, Stephen Drew, that got this all started.
Now it's Alex Rodriguez in a 1-0 game with the bases loaded. That's a strike at the knees. Split him with a split. Teaford, the lefty, up in the bullpen. Trying to get ready in a hurry. Tap to third. Longoria steps on the bag to retire the side. So the Yankees score 1, and that's it. 1-0 New York through 5. has shut out the Rays on 4 hits through 5 and has not walked anybody, picking up 6 strikeouts. Nathan Carnes matched him almost pitch for pitch until he ran into trouble in the bottom of the 5th with 2 outs.
It was the 2-out walk. You highlight Adam Warren having not walked anybody. It was 3 walks by the Rays. This one, the most damaging with the bases loaded, that had given the Yankees a 1-run lead. I'll tell you, Brandon Gomes did bounce back to get Alex Rodriguez to limit the damage.
And the Rays send the top of the order to the plate in the 6th. David DeJesus trying to get something started. 1-0 the count. Two 2-0. Rays riding a 5-game winning streak into New York. Finished 5-4 on the homestand. They were swept by the Yankees. Then took 2 of 3 from Baltimore and swept the Blue Jays. Joe Girardi's team 11-8. Frankly, I think that's been a surprise to some folks coming out of spring training. Yankees are the oldest team in the division. Oldest team in the American League, actually. Base hit to center for DeJesus. By contrast, the Rays are the 3rd youngest in the American League.
Well, there's a lot of youth and enthusiasm on this team. You may not see it in that shot right there, but most of the time these guys are hyped up, enjoy playing together, enjoy being around each other. And right now playing very well.
Steven Souza Jr. with a runner at first to begin the 6th. Souza hustled his way into a base hit in the 1st. This one gets away. And up to second base goes DeJesus. Wild pitch. Charge to Warren.
Well, here's a breaking ball. Actually, that might have been a changeup even. That just was not competitive, and Brian McCann not able to get out in front of that to the screen. And DeJesus immediately in scoring position with nobody out.
Fly ball center field. That sends Ellsbury back. DeJesus back to tag, and he'll move to 3rd easily and be there with 1 out. So a productive out to get the man to 3rd.
Well, that wild pitch gets DeJesus to second base. That fly ball deep enough to get him to 3rd. The Rays have been in this position before and still have nothing to show for it. Got to come through now.
As Jubal Cabrera comes to the plate, as we saw the left-hander Justin Wilson throwing in the New York bullpen. And the Yankees pull the infield up. Ground ball, second base. Here comes DeJesus. He is safe at the plate. DeJesus scores and the game is tied. With the infield end, the Rays score anyway.
I'll tell you, the Yankees couldn't have set it up any better. That was just a terrible play by Stephen Drew. He gets the chopper. First of all, Brian McCann did a nice job of even controlling this throw. I mean, what in the world was that throw? And David DeJesus slipping in that left hand. That is a brilliant slide. And he got in there, was not even tagged. Forget about that's it. That slide right there by DeJesus is just outstanding. He's going on contact. Stephen Drew. Stephen Drew actually paused before he threw that. Like he couldn't believe he was going, and then he fired it straight into the ground.
So Cabrera reaches. The Rays have tied the game. Evan Longoria takes the pitch inside. Well, there's another example of how aggressive the Rays can be as well.
Yeah.
And one of the really fun elements about this team, forcing the opposition into a play. And Drew made a poor throw.
Into a mistake. First he paused like he didn't believe what he was seeing, and then when he recalibrated, he threw the ball like 30 feet and one-hopped Brian McCann, who made a nice stop on it, but a better slide by DeJesus.
I'm not really sure if the team reflects the manager or if the manager reflects the team, because we've seen a nice little aggressive streak in both of them. 1-1 to count to Longoria.
Watch the pause here by Drew. Like, is he really doing this? And then that. And then that.
So the Rays get the tying run home on the base hit, a wild pitch, fly ball, and that infield chop.
Well, and I would, we can have Todd ask him, but you would assume that Kevin Cash is the one that made that call. He's going to tell Charlie Montoya, you tell David DeJesus, we're going on contact. Period.
Yep.
Period. End of discussion. If not, then David DeJesus is the most aggressive base runner in history.
And this one skips by, and down to second base goes Cabrera. And now the Rays have another man in scoring position. So the Rays have tied this. What about that, Todd?
Yeah, Dwayne, he actually brought this up in a conversation the other day. He said most teams will have their fastest 2 or 3 guys go on the contact play. He said we're going to probably extend that a little more, maybe the top 5 or 6 guys in our lineup. So that goes hand in hand with what you're talking about.
Yeah, I just think we've seen things out of Kevin Cash that really lend you to liking his approach to managing. We've seen him start runners. We've seen same thing on counts. We've seen things on contact plays at third. He's not real flashy, but he manages in an aggressive way that's not over the top. It's intelligently aggressive.
Yeah, not reckless.
Yeah, it's been fun. 2-2 the count here on Evan. Cabrera at second. Longoria 1 for 2 tonight, coming off a hot homestand. Full count. Lifted into center. Ellsbury makes the catch. 2 gone with a runner at second. James Loney due to be the hitter, and we're going to get a pitching change. 2 outs into the 6th. Joe Girardi out of the New York dugout. We'll be back with the new Yankee pitcher in a moment.
look and see how it started. Right here, David DeJesus, a nice at-bat, line drive into center field, a base hit. All of a sudden, a pitch yanked here by Adam Warren. David DeJesus up to second base on that wild pitch. Steven Souza Jr. getting into this fly ball, getting it deep enough. And David DeJesus able to tag up, get to third, and then on contact, the infield in, catches Steven by surprise. A poor throw and an awesome slide as he gets to home plate with the left hand. He's tied up, 2 out, and still a runner in scoring position.
Warren out, Justin Wilson into the game, making his 10th appearance. James Loney will face him for the first time in his career, and he fouls the pitch back for a strike, so they go lefty on lefty. Wilson coming over from Pittsburgh, the 27-year-old left-hander. That fastball averages in the mid-90s. Interestingly enough, lefties hit better off him than right-handers last year in the National League. Lefties hit over 250 off him, right-handers just over 200. Oh-2, the fastball up. Another hard-throwing reliever in the bullpen, Carpenter. Goes the runner, and a cut and a miss. Zaloni strikes out. Rays get the tying run across. 1-1 ball game. Stop improving. Mark Teixeira this year early has been on fire in contrast to past seasons. 8 home runs already, 17 total early in the year dating back to 2009. But a different story this year. He's facing Brandon Gomes. 1-0 the count. Hopper left side, long run for Geyer, but he's got time and makes the catch. A lot of hang time on that one. Now Brian McCann. McCann, ground ball to second, fly ball to center. a strike. There's a long one. Right field, no doubt. He turns the fastball around and hits it out.
That ball was down and out over the plate, and Brian McCann was able to extend the arms. And we talked about the short right field porch. That's what made that an absolute no-brainer. Going down to down and in. Left-handed juice-up.
Beltran takes a strike. Well, McCann, like a lot of left-handed hitters, loves that short right field porch, but he hit that one well. It's 1-1 here to Beltran. Shot to center. Kiermaier going straight back. Hits the bottom of the wall. Beltran in the second with a double. Now the Yankees have another man in scoring position.
Now Carlos Beltran, this has been a very frustrating beginning of the season. Came into this ball game that averaged just over 150, low 160s. 0 for his first 2, and then he rips a shot here. Watch Kiermaier trying to track it down. That ball just hit too hard. Clears him and up against the wall.
And snaps it 0 for 14 for Beltran. Here's Chris Young. So the Yankees re-grab the lead on the home run and threaten for more. Upstairs, 1-0. One ball, one strike. Game scoreless until the bottom of the 5th when the Yankees got a run on a bases loaded walk. Rays tied it with a run in the top of the 6th, and McCann's home run giving the Yankees the lead again. The double followed the home run, and Beltran is at second. Ball and a strike to count on Chris Young. Low, 2-1. You get to this stage of the game and you have two teams battling to take the lead because they've both really relied heavily on good bullpens.
And the Yankees back end has rounded into form since we've last seen them. Dylan Betances has regained form. Andrew Miller, well, enough about him. He's got 7 saves.
Yeah, he just lights out. Cut and a miss. And that's get some info on him. His swing and a miss percentage is 50%. Unbelievable.
What can you say? I mean, when you get a guy swing and miss up around 30, 32, you're saying, wow, that's swing and miss stuff. 50%, big league hitters. Not even making forget about getting hits. You can't even make contact. It's a coin flip.
Now we have a full count on Young.
I wonder what the isolated power against Andrew Miller is this year.
They're on the same team, so they're not even talking apparently.
Probably no way to get an answer then.
Yep. Three-two. He got it.
Nice. Nice pitch there by Brandon Gomes. That was one of those pitches appearing to be a strike out of the hand, and then it dives in under the swing of Chris Young. Watch this. Okay, this is going to be middle swing. No, just a little bit of late movement. Can't get there.
Well, Stephen Drew is due up, and that's going to be it for Brandon Gomes. They want the left-hander Everett Teaford. Take a look at his career numbers.
Well, the majority of that came 2011, 2012 with the Kansas City Royals. And now making his Rays debut in a big spot here because, as you mentioned, that Yankees bullpen, you do not want them expanding on this lead.
Teaford on to face Drew. Pitch inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Teaford, his velocity 88, 89, sometimes 90. Falling behind Drew, 2-0. With a fastball at 88. Two and one. He started to go, but he checked. Now 3 balls and a strike.
Yeah, not even close.
Pop up, foul ball. Rivera back to the screen, but no room. The count is full. Teaford and Drew have faced each other once before, and it resulted in an unofficial at bat, a walk. We're 3-2 here in the 6th inning. Object on the field, and Steven Souza Jr. does a little groundskeeping.
It's like picking up in your room. This is my area. I want no trash, garbage.
Three-two. Up the right side toward the corner. Beltran scores, and Drew's on his way to second. Coughs it toward the right field corner. Now 3-1 New York.
Yeah, well, Stephen Drew in a full count. Yankees looking for something to get the barrel to, and this pitch, a slider, looked like that never got to its spot. That just broke right to the middle of the plate. And Stephen Drew just lines that down into the corner. Gonna stop the bleeding.
So the deficit is 2 in the bottom of the 6th. And here's Gregorius. One ball, no strikes. Gregorius was on base on an infield hit in the 5th. And a good stop at 3rd by Longoria. It's inside. 2-0. Home run, 2 doubles in the inning, and 2 runs in. 2-1. Two runs charged to Gomes in 1 inning of work. Popped up, short left. In comes Geyer. And that retires the side. Yankees score 2 and lead 3-1. Host your group of 50 to 85 in this private party area and make long-lasting memories Reserve the Papa John's bullpen box by contacting Group Sales at 888-FAN-RAYS or emailing groupsales@raysbaseball.com. Limit dates remain.
Is that his hair or is that the hat?
That's a fair question, though, in this case.
If it's the hat, I mean, it matches perfectly.
It's custom ordered.
It's aggressive. He has no idea.
Want to know the count to Brandon Geyer.
And not an easy guy to figure out. You know, he's got that hair or hat going, either one, with the tie.
Yeah.
Not really sure what you're going to get with him. Am I business? Am I pleasure? I don't know. It's tough to tell.
Ready for any occasion. The ground ball to the shortstop, Gregorius. Geyer's the first out in the 7th. Kevin Kiermaier. Kevin has struck out and a fly ball to right.
I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough for the Rays from this point forward because we've seen Joe Girardi not afraid to go to Betances or Miller for multiple innings or, you know, more than one, an inning in the 3rd, sometimes push to an inning in 2/3, and now you're down to your final 8 outs. You got to make your push, and you got to make it now.
Betances worked an inning in their game last night against the Mets. So did Miller. One and one now on Kiermaier. Well, there's the bullpen and the work it has done so far this year for the Yankees. 2nd in the league with a 1.86 ERA and 1st in strikeouts. And one strong arm right after another. Tap by the mound. And Gregorius makes the play.
Yeah, and that's the only way he could have made it. He was almost in, you know, going into his throwing motion before he even got the ball. He didn't have time to field that and then set his feet and throw. Kevin Kiermaier out of the box quick. Look at that. Field and throw all in one motion. And that's the only way he was going to get him.
Well, Girardi's going to go to the bullpen. Back in a moment. doubleheader, starting with a West Coast Interleague showdown between the Angels and the Giants, followed by the Reds squaring off against the Braves. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Tim Beckham will face David Carpenter, a hard-throwing right-hander. And that first pitch comes in at 95 upstairs. Carpenter making his 8th appearance. His last outing was on the 22nd. And he misses on the first 2 pitches, 2-0. A scoreless inning against the Tigers on the 22nd, giving up a hit and picking up 2 strikeouts. It's 3-0. Matanzas up in the bullpen. Carpenter pitched an inning against the Rays on the 18th. Had a perfect inning, picked up a strikeout. Now there's a strike, and it's 3-1. Full count on Beckham.
And Carpenter may have gotten away with one there. That looked to be a ball 4, but Beckham took a hack at it, got a piece.
You see the location of his pitches here.
That would be pitch number 5, and Myron has it well off the plate. Myron's been pretty good this year. Got to tell you.
And there is ball 4. So Carpenter comes in and walks Beckham.
That will drive Larry Rothschild and Joe Girardi crazy. You got a 2-run lead. The one thing you can't have is a walk. You give up a hit to Tim Beckham, you give up a hit. So be it. You can't have the walk bring the tying run to the plate because you can't throw the pitch over the plate.
Yeah, but here's the other side. You got a hard thrower who hasn't worked. This is the 5th day. I mean, that's your job coming out bullpen throw strikes, but you can understand why it might take a few pitches to get his gauge in order.
And that's the tough part of coming out of the pen late in the game. You don't have that luxury.
Yep.
You got to make them
right.
now.
There's a strike to get ahead of Rivera. Ground ball to shortstop off a slider. And so the Rays are finished in the 7th. It's 3-1 New York. Yankees scored a run in the 5th. The Rays tied it in the 6th, and the Yankees broke that tie in their half of the inning. Hannah Moore in 5 2/3 of one-run baseball. Brian McCann hit a home run, connecting off Brandon Gomes in the bottom of the 6th to break the tie. Nathan Garnes worked the first 4 2/3. Carnes gave up a run on 3 hits, struck out 5, and ran into trouble with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Gomes worked an inning. Tiefert finished off the 6th. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. And we'll hear from Jake Odorizzi, who will make the start for the Rays tomorrow. And Orestes breaks down Alex Rodriguez. Jacoby Ellsbury will lead off the bottom of the 7th. Then Brett Gardner, followed by Alex Rodriguez. Ellsbury has been on twice with a single and a walk. Struck out swinging his first time. First pitch is a strike. Tiefert's prior major league time came with the Kansas City Royals. It's 1-1. Two balls and a strike. Tiefert's 30 years old. Hot shot foul. 2-2. Fly ball, short left. Geyer's there to catch it. One gone. You can get a swirling wind effect here sometimes in Yankee Stadium, and across the top of the ballpark the wind is out of the west. You can see that's the third base side, and while that's happening you can also see a little jet stream out toward left as it hits the right field stands and then curls the other way. Brett Gardner.
It's what is known as the Benji vortex.
There's a strike.
Just saying. And you don't want to get caught in it.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Tough to get out.
That's on the corner for strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes. Matanzas up in the bullpen for New York. Here's Wilson and Carpenter. Right now the pitchers of record. Gomes the pitcher of record for the Rays. Warren started this game, pitched 5 2/3, gave way to Justin Wilson. Wilson was the pitcher of record when they took the lead. 1-2 on Gardner. And to left. Will it hang up? Geyer can't get there. Throw to second. Gardner safely in.
Well, you always get nervous on plays like that. You get your wrist caught underneath you and roll up on it. Brandon Geyer trying to make what would have been a great catch out in left field on a sinking line drive off the bat of Brett Gardner. And just couldn't quite get there. And you see how that hand, everything gets caught up underneath and it rolls over. Always, well, you fall on that the wrong way. And unfortunately, not hurt. Unfortunate part also is Gardner at second base.
He's aboard in front of Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez 0 for 3 tonight. And the pitch is way up. 1-0. For Gardner, his third double of the year. He's on base for the third time tonight. Alex Rodriguez sitting on 659 home runs. One short of Willie Mays. Two and 0. Ball 3. Teixeira is on deck. And behind him 3-0. They're going to walk him intentionally. So with one out, Rodriguez goes to first. Jim Hickey goes to the mound. Mark Teixeira due up. Rodriguez is going to leave the game at first. We'll get a pinch runner at first. Chase Headley's going to run. Tonight at 11. Fox Sports Live will get you caught up on a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action. You can see Fox Sports Live tonight at 11 on Fox Sports 1. We're seeing simulcast right here on Fox's Sun Sports following the postgame show. Rodriguez out of the game. Headley running. Teixeira, nothing out of 3. Ball 1 too high. And there are the knees. 1-1. Chopper, shortstop Cabrera out at second, out at first. Rays get the double play ball to get out of the 7th inning. On the soft chopper off the bat of Mark Teixeira. Cabrera, Deloney. We're through 7. 3-1 New York. Yankees. Chase Headley coming on to run. Will stay in to play third in the place of Alex Rodriguez. Dylan Betances makes his 10th appearance.
Well, a 3-0 record, nothing on the ERA, and we talked about him rounding into form. His last 4 appearances covering 5 innings, he's not given up a hit, 1 base runner via the walk with 9 strikeouts. This Yankee bullpen, more strikeouts than anybody in Major League Baseball.
A third of an inning for Carpenter, and we'll see what David DeJesus can do here against Betances. David 0 for 3 with a walk in his career against the Yankee right-hander. Cut and a miss at the fastball at 94. Rays 0-3 against New York. They were outscored 19-7 in the series at Tropicana Field. They're down 3-1 right now. And 2 quick strikes to DeJesus. Rays saw Betances in 2 of the 3 games at the Trop. He worked a scoreless inning in the first game and picked up the victory in a 5-4 decision, and then he worked in the final game of that series an inning and 2/3 of scoreless baseball with a couple strikeouts, and so a walk in that outing. A little tapper. Betances makes the pickup, and they toss to first in time. 1 away. Steven Souza Jr.
Dylan Betances, he's got to feature that fastball, and typically the way it worked with him last year, and you're seeing the same thing here this year, is his season starts out in that 93-94 range, and he builds that arm strength. And last year he was upper 90s, had 135 strikeouts in 90 innings. He broke the Yankee record for strikeouts by a reliever.
A strike. Souza had an infield hit off Betances at Tropicana Field. And is down in the count 0-2.
And the other pitch that he features, and we've seen 2 of them here, a good curveball. These for strikes, he can take that thing below the zone. Up and down break.
One ball, 2 strikes. All game in the top of the 8th, first game of a 3-game series. Upstairs. Hard curve and a high velocity fastball. That last fastball at 96.
You can see McCann wanted the breaking ball after that fastball up, played a curveball off of that. Betances wanted the heater.
And the heater overpowers him up and strikes him out at 97.
He's gaining this arm strength right before our very eyes as the inning goes on. He's gone 94 to 97. The pitch had already been decided upon, and then There it is, up in the zone. Souza Jr. cannot hold up.
Bases empty, 2 outs. Here's Cabrera. That's a strike. Cabrera got the run home on that fielder's choice ground ball to second in the 6th inning. When Drew made the throw to the plate and bounced it in. 2 strikes on Cabrera. Strike 3 call, curveball. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays. 3-1 New York. Dealers.com and by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Brian McCann, the catcher, opens the bottom of the 8th inning for New York and tries to push a bunt and pops it foul into the seats back of the visiting dugout.
He's looking over at that left side and realizing that there's nobody there.
Second home run of the year, broke a 1-1 tie in the 6th inning.
I don't know if I'd be thinking about bunt after I did that.
There's a check swing roller, and he's going to get a base hit. Yep, no way to defend that with a shift on. Leadoff base hit. We'll check in with Todd Callis again. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, coming up after the game, it'll be our Rays Live post-game show presented by Checkers. Special guest host tonight, Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson. I will be in the Rays clubhouse gathering interviews. We'll hear from the skipper, Kevin Cash. All that coming up on Rays Live presented by Checkers after the game.
There's Carlos Beltran swinging from the right side and missing. Strike 1.
You gotta love that guy's enthusiasm. Night in and night out.
He was here, and just as quickly, he was gone. Two strikes on Beltran.
A couple of good changeups here by Tiford. We've seen just about everything from him. The fastball looked like he's cut a few. Curveball, the changeup.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. Now, through most of his career, he has been a starter. That's what he did in Korea last year. His big league time with Kansas City divided it pretty much between the bullpen and starting, and then in the minor league starting, he picks up a strikeout of Beltran. Chris Young will be the hitter, and the Rays have a little meeting on the mound. Jim Hickey, the infield around. Well, tomorrow, game 2 of the series features Jake Odorizzi here in New York. Jake, after his 3rd win, will be with you at 6:30. The pregame coverage. He'll be opposed by Chase Whitley tomorrow night. There's a strike to Chris Young. Good 2. And he strikes out Young.
Came right after Young with the fastballs and able to tie him up. With this one here, 88 miles an hour. Up and close to him. Chris Young can't shorten the swing and falls victim.
Stephen Drew. Kicks it upstairs. Drew got the double in the 6th inning that drove in the 2nd run of the inning and the 3rd run of the night for New York. Lines this one over the head of Beckham and into right over the ship. McCann advances to 2nd. Drew's on for the 3rd straight time. 2 on, 2 out.
Now he just goes up and flips this ball out into right field. He surprised McCann with 2 outs and running on contact, not able to get to 3rd on that. Catcher or not.
Gregorio fouls it the other way. Strike 1. The 8 and 9 hitters have been on base 4 times between them, scoring a run and driving in a run. Inside, 1-1. Rays in the 9th inning due to have the middle of the order. Longoria, Loney, and Geyer. And Tiefer trying to get the final out and keep the deficit at 2. He did not go. Jim Joyce down at 3rd base. 3-1 count.
Let's take a look and see how close this was. Just off.
And there's ball 4. It's on for the second time, and suddenly the bases are loaded for Jacoby Ellsbury.
You know, interesting too, because this is just a 2-run game, and you know Tiford right now struggling just a little bit, and there is nothing going on in that Rays bullpen. I mean, he gives up a double here and clears the bases. You know, 6-1. You don't have time to get anybody into the ball game, and it's not like this is a blowout situation. You're down by just 2 with the heart of the order coming up.
Ellsbury takes one upstairs. Ellsbury with that base hit came in the 3rd. He walked in the 5th. One and one. So Tiford facing Ellsbury for the second time in the last 2 innings. That one hit him. So McCann crosses the plate, and it's now a 3-run game.
Now, this is what you're talking about. You clearly have a pitcher that's struggling right now. Just hits a guy with the bases loaded. No one's up in the pen. Now the lead's 3.
Brett Gardner. Gardner takes a pitch high. Gardner's been on 3 times. Well, we've had a walk with the bases loaded. That was Gardner in the 5th. Now Ellsbury hit by a pitch with the bases loaded in the 8th. And the Yankees lead 4-1. Pitch inside. He tried to throw a breaking ball and could not get it to break. It's 2-0. Well, the Rays obviously deciding to save the bullets in the bullpen for another day.
Yeah, and it's I think it begs the question, you know, a question that needs to be answered. It's a 2-run ball game, and not now, but before all this happened, and it could get worse here. But it was a 2-run ball game. And granted, Andrew Miller's been lights out, but you have the middle of your lineup coming up. That's still a competitive situation. To not even have anybody warming up, you just wonder why. And that has to be the reason why. Well, but you can see Tiford is struggling mightily. I mean, to hit a guy with the bases juiced.
And here's the other side of that. Let's say it is a 2-run game. You do get Miller in the game. If it becomes something more, you might not even get him in the game, so the Yankees get to save him.
There you go. And you're right about that. I mean, one more and you won't see him.
2-2. And they do have Miller, but we're also going to get Rogers to start throwing in the bullpen. fouled out of play.
Maybe that's the strategy.
Yeah, it avoids getting Miller into the game.
Yeah, let's let him extend it to 4. Get somebody else in there. In this case, Esmiel Rogers, and we make our run on him.
That's it. Because nobody's making any runs on Miller these days.
No. Well, you can't even. You're
can't
a
even
coin
hit the
flip
ball.
of making contact.
Looper to the left, and it's going to be caught near the line by Geyer. So we're headed into the 9th. It's a 3-run deficit. Evan Longoria is going to lead it off. Three-run deficit. That means Miller will get into this game. A nice GMC big matchup. Andrew Miller makes his 9th appearance. 7 of 7 in save opportunities with a 0 earned run average. Look at that. 16 strikeouts, 14 walks in 8 1/3 innings. And that swing and miss percentage, 50%. So let's see what the Rays can do to alter that line with Evan Longoria leading off. Evan 1 for 3 tonight, and he takes a strike.
Well, Andrew Miller, tall, lanky. You can see he's got a long arm swing, kind of slings the ball to the plate.
One and one.
And he's got a very good sweeping slider, as you may well imagine, to both righties and lefties. He loves to throw that pitch when he gets ahead.
There's such movement that a lot of these pitches wind up being out of the strike zone, but you've got to commit on them.
Yeah. Well, that's what any pitcher wants. They want the pitch out of the hand to appear to be a strike, especially when they're ahead in the count. By the time it gets there, it's not.
There's a ground ball and a base hit into left off a 2-1 pitch. Second hit of the night for Evan Longoria.
Well, this is a start. The ball's up in the zone, and you can see Evan really shorten up that swing, not try to get real big. And he hit that ball hard, found a hole.
And Logan Forsythe will hit in the place of Loney. This pitch is down. Interesting here that Loney is 4 for 12 against Miller
with a homer.
Mm-hmm. Strike on the inside part of the plate. Now it's 1-1. Well, we'll see how this works out. A ball and 2 strikes. Longoria at first, picking up the 6th hit of the night for the Rays against 5 New York pitchers. So Forsythe, who was not in the lineup tonight, pinch hitting here in the 9th. Two balls, 2 strikes. Miller pitched 1 inning last night against the New York Mets. There's Brandon Guyer waiting on deck. Shot to right field. Young going back at the track, and he makes the catch. Longoria retreats to first as Forsythe gave it a little sting, but Young grabbed it.
It made some people here at the stadium nervous. Anytime you get that fly ball out into right field that comes off the bat nicely, you hold your breath because they can get out of here, and Forsythe making a bid. And Chris Young able to track it down.
Here's Brandon Guyer. Ground ball, right side. Drew is going to make the play to first, and Longoria moves up to second.
Well, that ball, you thought there for a second, maybe a chance at a double play, but Stephen Drew kind of stumbling over to that ball, not having the greatest of nights defensively out at second base. Watch him, can't get his footing. Covers to make the play.
So the Rays down to their final out. Kiermaier is due, but he'll be lifted, and Jake Elmore will pinch hit. Elmore batting for Kiermaier. Is down. Well, the Rays with Longoria at second, only the 3rd time tonight that they've had runners in scoring position. They had men at second and third with 1 out in the first and did not cash in. You're always concerned about letting those early opportunities get away from you. And now here they are in the 9th, down to their final out with Longoria at second. 2-0 the count on Elmore. Two balls and a strike. Three and one. Tim Beckham is on deck, hoping to get a chance, and why not?
All you can ask for is that opportunity to get the tying run to the plate, and you're right, Tim Beckham, a nice season.
Takes the count to 3-2, caught the edge.
He's sitting at 3 home runs right now, and he could have 2 more. He's robbed by Pilar and the double barrel Tropicana Field in the top of the wall.
And he just missed one foul. 3-2. Cut the miss. Elmore out on strikes. Missed the slider. This ball game is over. And the Yankees have taken game 1 of this series. It's a 4-1 final tonight. We'll take a look at the final out.
Well, there's that slider. Just covers so much ground. Starts at middle away, breaks it down and in, and Elmore cannot hold up, and that'll end it.
So the Yankees take game 1 of this series. The Rays have yet to beat this club this year. 4-1 the final. We'll be back with the postgame show in just a few moments. Game 2 of this series tomorrow night. Our coverage begins at 6:30. Jake Odorizzi